Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of the Daily Debate. In tonight's show, we're going to be focusing on the tourism sector. Now, Egypt is bracing itself for a strong tourism season as winter approaches. We're going to be looking at the prospects of a strong tourism season tonight here on the Daily Debate. But before we start talking about it, let's check out some of the main stories making the news today. And we start off with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who received the Algerian Foreign Minister Ramatan Lamamra at the Ittihadiyya Palace in Cairo today. During the meeting, President el-Sisi received a letter from Algeria's President Abdelmajid Tebboune inviting him to the next Arab Summit in Algeria due in November. President el-Sisi conveyed greetings to his Algerian counterpart and welcomed the invitation, expressing the keenness on expanding cooperation between the two sides to guarantee the success of the summit in boosting Arab joint action and facing challenges that faces the Arab nation. The meeting tackled bilateral ties and regional issues of mutual concern, including the situation in Libya and Syria. The two sides agreed on the significance of extensive coordination to achieve regional security, peace and stability. The meeting was attended by Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry and the Algerian ambassador to Cairo. Also today, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. During the meeting, President el-Sisi stressed on the significance of exerting all efforts to back the Palestinian cause. The head of state reiterated that Cairo would continue to offer all kinds of support to the Palestinian cause. For his part, the Palestinian president hailed the historic role played by Egypt to support the Palestinians in a bid to reach a comprehensive and lasting peace in the occupied territories. The meeting comes within the framework of joint coordination to confront challenges facing efforts of the Palestinian people to obtain their rights and achieve the right of self-determination and establish their independent state with full national sovereignty on all Palestinian lands, which were occupied in 1967 with East Jerusalem as its capital. And finally, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi congratulated Kenya's President William Ruto for his presidency election win. He wished him and the Kenyan people a bright future. President el-Sisi expressed keenness on expanding bilateral ties and coordinating the regional issues of mutual concern. These were some of the stories making the news today, but now focusing our attention on the tourism sector. Now, Prime Minister Mohamed has asserted that the government is bracing itself, the whole country is bracing itself for a strong tourism season as winter approaches. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back.
Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli asserted that the state has an exceptional opportunity to attract more tourists in winter amid the current global crisis. Madbouli underscored the necessity of promoting for different places of attraction in the country and tapping new markets in order to lure further tourists to various Egyptian cities, including Sharm el-Sheikh, Hurghada and Marsa Alam, that are unique warm destinations. During a meeting held to follow up on steps to fulfill global promotional campaigns for different programs and tourism destinations in the country, which was attended by a host of ministers and senior state officials, Prime Minister pointed out that Egypt has various tourism places of attraction, which he asserted should be capitalized on to up the numbers of tourists coming to the country. Madbouli further affirmed that the government is ready to take any decision that is necessary, aiming to increase the number of tourists. For his part, Minister of Tourism and Antiquities Ahmed Isa held an extensive meeting with a number of tourist investors to discuss preparations for the winter tourism season in an effort to enhance the flow of arrivals in the coming period. He stressed the necessity of continuous cooperation between the ministry and the private sector to stimulate, empower and increase the number of tourists, revenues and profits to achieve the common goal of promoting the tourism sector in Egypt and the society as a whole, noting that this industry plays an important role in the national economy. The minister also listened to some proposals to encourage domestic tourism and increase the incoming tourism movement to Egypt in winter. He stressed that proposals and issues raised by investors would be studied carefully to find appropriate solutions and that the necessary measures will be adopted in cooperation with the Egyptian Federation of Tourist Chambers to raise the efficiency of the infrastructure in tourist governorates. During the meeting, the promotional activities listed on the agenda were also reviewed, on top of which is the launch of a promotional campaign prepared for by a company during the last quarter of this year in light of the new media strategy to promote tourism in Egypt. In addition, the ministry will participate in international exhibitions, host international conferences and organize visits for international tourism federations.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, continuing our discussion with Mr. Badr. Now, you've mentioned that Egypt is rich for the classical tourism, the cultural tourism. We're having now museums all over the country, even at the Red Sea Resort, the beach destinations. We're anticipating the inauguration of the Grand Egyptian Museum. We've seen a lot of parades. We've seen a lot of achievements that have been taking place, especially for the cultural tourism. And now Jean-François Champollion, who deciphered the hieroglyphics, the Rosetta Stone that is now in the British Museum. What sort of activities or preparations do you feel the government and the ministry will be having to maximize on celebrating 200 years of such a discovery?
Well, that day marks, I have to say, it was a wonderful discovery. You know, the Egyptian civilization was lost for hundreds, thousands of years. The last time hieroglyphics were used, but I remember about the year 340 AD. That was the last time. Still the text in Philae Temple in Aswan until today. From that day until Champollion discovered the secret of the hieroglyphics, it was lost. It was for everybody. It was just drawings that no one understood. Although the Coptic language, which is still used until today in Egyptian churches, this is the continuous of the ancient Egyptian language. Hieroglyphics is just the way of writing, but the language itself, it was called something else. I think something Kemet, Egypt. And so from that day we started to know about our history, about the civilization of Egypt. And it was the only country in the world that there is a science is called after it, Egyptology. You cannot find this anywhere in the world. So the ministry definitely I think they are preparing for celebrations. Until now they did not really announce it, but I know they are preparing things. One of them is opening the sites on the 27th of September for free for Egyptians and for all foreign residents in Egypt to go to all the sites and the museums to...
That's the date when actually the Rosetta Stone was discovered and deciphered, and it turned to become the International Tourism Day worldwide.
Exactly. I remember it took Champollion around 20 or 22 years to break the secret and know. He knew it from the name of Cleopatra, as far as I remember. So this is something we can use for international marketing. It's the day that marked the discovery of the Rosetta Stone, which is, you know, we need to tell the story. You know, it's always about the story. So, but I think the grand celebration will be the opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is we all waiting for, not just us, the whole world, really.
Yes.
Really, every time we have a call or a meeting or an email from somebody outside or agent or friend, when are you going to open the Grand Egyptian Museum? Years ago, they're all anticipating for that. That will be a really, I know, definitely. I, you know, I'm not part of anything, but just I know because of our experience with the Mummy's Parade, the Golden Mummy's Parade, and the opening of the Avenue of Sphinx in Luxor. They were an amazing, beyond amazing events. So I know this will be even more amazing than them.
Well, it seems that our civilization, the cultural tourism that we have here, is probably one of the main or the strongest points that Egypt has that no other country in the world has. I mean, other countries might have great services and beaches and touristic destinations, but Egyptology, the civilization, the ancient Egyptian civilization, and the Grand Egyptian Museum, it seems that this is probably one of our highest cards in the tourism industry. Can it be used to be able to infiltrate and gain a bigger share of the market other than Europe and maybe parts of Asia, but can we also invade or infiltrate the American, the Latin American, the Southern American markets, the Far Eastern markets? Can we use it to attract more touristic markets?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. In Vegas, there is a hotel called Luxor Hotel. It's built in a pyramid shape. The entrance is a huge replica of the Sphinx, and they have a big, tall obelisk. Just a hotel. It's not the real thing. This hotel is visited each year by, I think, latest thing was 25 million visitors a year. A hotel in Vegas. Egypt is visited by 14 million a year. That was our top, our peak. So that gives you an idea about the interest and the craziness of the Egyptian civilization. Going to a replica gives you that idea. So how about going to the real thing? It's a dream for everybody. It just, again, it's ease of access, ease of going around, ease of everything. We can open more markets, but we need direct flights. We need more routes. We need new routes. From America, we just have 2 routes, New York and Washington. We need more. We need from Los Angeles, we need from Miami, we need from Chicago, we need from San Francisco, from everywhere. Other airlines with other countries that, again, they don't have over 100 what we have. They have direct flights to 20 plus cities in America. We have a very good share from Mexico. Mexicans love to come to Egypt. Until today, we don't have no direct route from Mexico to Egypt. They have to fly via something. Brazil, we don't have. And these are main markets for Egypt. Brazil, Mexico, China, we don't have that much routes with China. India, even Indians, we don't have that much routes with Indians. Africa, we need, you know, this is
but why
the first
don't we
step.
have these direct routes? I mean, is it the responsibility or is it the effort of the Ministry of Tourism or the Ministry of Civil Aviation or a cooperation?
It's a cooperation between them. You have to create at least one a week, 2 each month. You know, you start and then you build, and then you will have more and more and more and more. This is the most important thing: flights, direct flights, charter flights. All charter flights coming to Egypt, they are not Egyptian. They are with other countries. Some of them are with countries that they don't want good to Egypt, so they just cut off flights to Egypt. Ease of access, many things. Again, even the what we have right now in terms of hotels and lodges and boats, this is the maximum capacity. I mean, if we have 14, 15 million a year, this is the maximum capacity. We cannot have more than this, so we need to add more, and that's why I hope we have, you know, more encouraging, more ease of things for investors to build more. We need more. People are hungry to come to Egypt. We need to give them
what they want.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, obviously Egypt is bracing itself for a very busy winter season in the tourism industry, and as Mr. Badr mentioned, there's a lot of effort that is already being exerted, but still a lot more could be done to attract and give the international tourists exactly what they want. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Daily Debate. But before we go, I'd like to thank my very distinguished guest, Mr. Ahmed Badr, the tourism expert. Mr. Badr, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International. I'm Henny Saif. Thank you for joining us.